All right, well, welcome to this session number 2 of PM Office Hours for Exadata Express and Schema Service. My name is Todd Bottger, and I am a product manager in the development team here at Oracle. I bring you greetings from Oracle headquarters in sunny Redwood Shores, California, or maybe not so sunny. It's been raining a little bit here recently. But welcome. We're glad to have you aboard. So everyone can see my screen, everyone can hear me. I think we're ready to go. Quick agenda for today's office hours. I'm going to do a couple of quick housekeeping items. I wanted to inform you of some upcoming events. These sessions are not only an opportunity for you to ask us questions, but also for us here at Oracle to ask you questions and get live direct feedback from folks who are using our cloud services. So I do have one live poll, a brief live poll I want to do. I think that'll be pretty quick. And then, as we did last time, we'll have a very short structured presentation, 10, maybe 15 minutes. We're going to demo something this time that I think is really exciting. And we have a special guest from our engineering team here, Vlad Uvarov, who has joined us. We'll be doing this demo. This is something coming up soon for Apex applications running on Exadata Express, where it's a way that you can run them on your own domain name and using your own SSL certificate. We call that a Vanity Url. So Vlad's going to show you what's coming up in that regard and give you a taste for how to configure it and use it. And then we'll have plenty of time for question and answer. We welcome any questions that you may have. We'll do our best to answer. If we don't know the answer, we'll do our best to point you to another PM Office Hours session where you could talk directly to the relevant PM. But we're generally pretty good about answering stuff, so we'll have plenty of time for that. All right, just in terms of housekeeping items, the recording for our last session has now been posted on Oracle Dev Gym under AskTOM. This is the link for it. It's also, if you go to the page for this office hours and scroll to the bottom, you'll see a direct link to the last recording. And I believe all the recordings will just show up there automatically. So keep going to that page. That's the main page for this particular series. And I think it came out to about 45 minutes long. We had some good questions last time, so some useful information in that last session. Also, we have a welcome tour video series on YouTube, and I wanted to point that out. I'll probably point this out pretty much every time because this is a great way to jumpstart your experience with Exadata Express in particular. Just go watch the YouTube video series. In a little less than each video is less than 5 minutes long, and in a little less than a half an hour total, you will be an expert with what Exadata Express can provide and all the various things you can do with Exadata Express. So if you haven't already, go take a look at our Welcome Tour video series. Follow me on Twitter. There's the Twitter, and I've been posting to it frequently the last couple days, so a good place for news and insights, and another good place to ask questions. And sign up for a free trial. Oracle Cloud offers US $300 promotional credits, free credits, that you can use for any number of our PaaS and IaaS services, including Exadata Express. So go take a look at that, sign up, and it's a great way to get your very own instance and get your hands on it directly. In terms of events, we have some exciting stuff coming up the next few months. Of course, Apex World in the Netherlands towards the end of this month. Our CTO and chairman of the board, Mr. Larry Ellison, will be doing a special event 2 weeks from yesterday on March 27th at 12:30, originating from the Oracle Conference Center in Redwood Shores. I think that'll be a really interesting event. He'll be talking all about Autonomous Database, our new Autonomous Data Warehouse Cloud service that you may have heard a bit about. And so I think that'll be a great event. Go take a look. You can get more detail. The start time, I hear, may bounce around a little bit. I think it's going to be 12:30 Pacific. But go take a look at events.oracle.com. You can get more information on that. So mark that in your calendars. I think that'll be a good one. And then, of course, Kscope coming up in June in Orlando. So come join us for Kscope. All right, wanted to do a couple quick live polls, and this is where we get information from you. I floated this at our last session a little bit, but I want to get some direct feedback on what you want to get out of this series. What would be the most useful to you in terms of the structure and also the content. And I think rather than doing Zoom live poll here, I'm going to just kind of do this informally. The Zoom live poll doesn't actually show up in the recording, it turns out. So I just put the questions in a slide, and I'll have you kind of shout out. You can just say over audio or mention it over chat. If there is a preferred things that you would like to see out of this series, we could do structured PM presentation and demo. It's kind of like we'll be doing some of that today. We could have other guest speakers. I've got a whole group of luminaries in mind that I would love to have join and present and participate in some discussion in this series. We could just have unstructured Q&A time. Very open to just having Q&A time. And we could have time for discussion amongst yourselves, discussion with others on the call. So if you have any preferences in that regard, feel free to shout it out or say it over chat. I've got my chat window open. I'll give you a second to process that. Vote for B. Okay. Anyone else want to chime in on that topic? Okay. All right. So the next question is, what kind of drill down topics are of most interest to you? Try and move this window out of the way. There's all kinds of things we could talk about. I get a lot of questions about pricing and packaging. A lot of questions about comparing Schema Service and Exadata Express to other services provided by Oracle and to services provided by competitors. We could do comparisons and drill downs. A lot of roadmap questions. What do we have coming up? What's coming in the future? Questions about customers. How are customers using this? Customer use cases, customer references. A whole bunch of development topics. Try and move this window out of the way. We could talk about doing Apex development on these services, SQL and PL/SQL development, REST, Java, Node.js. What we're showing with Exadata Express today, it works great with Node.js. The new Node Oracle DB driver version 2 just came out. .NET, Python, all kinds of interesting development things we could drill down on. So feel free to express any preferences in this regard. See if we get any votes. I'm going to pull my chat window back up. D and E, best practices and target use cases. Good. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, duly noted. Thank you for that feedback. All right, so now, we got one more comment here. I'll pull the chat window back up. O is in general less discussed. Developments, SQL and PL/SQL. Okay, that's good feedback. Thank you. I think it's Judith. Thank you for that feedback. We will certainly take that into account. All right, so I'm going to move on now. Thank you for your feedback, and we're going to bridge right into a demo, and I'll introduce Vlad. Vlad, can you give me a shout out? Let's make sure your audio is working.
Hello.
We hear you great. Okay, terrific. So Vlad is a development manager here in the Oracle Database engineering team and very involved with both Schema Service and Exadata Express. He's been working on a really exciting enhancement we have coming up where you can now take Apex apps running on Exadata Express and run them on your own domain name and SSL certificate and kind of create your own Vanity URL to promote a little bit, promote yourself a little bit in these Apex apps. The same is also true for REST, for the REST interface or interfaces to the Oracle database. Those can be over a domain name and SSL certificate of your choosing now. So I think this is some pretty cool stuff. With that, I'm going to unshare and turn the time over to Vlad. Okay, Vlad, take it away. Excellent. We can see your screen. We're good.
All right, so I'm going to talk about a new feature that we're working on for Exadata Express. The feature, as Todd mentioned, is the adding support for vanity URLs or vanity domain names for hosting your Apex apps and REST services in Exadata Express. So what is a vanity URL? So let's take a look at an example. We start at the Exadata Express Service Console. It should be familiar to our existing customers. It helps to control various aspects of the service and also provides jump links into your dedicated Apex development environment. So here I can click a button, this one, and I will go into Apex Application Builder for my Exadata Express instance running Oracle Database 12 Release 2. So you may notice that here in this development environment, my URL that my customers would see and also my developers would see looks something like this. This is not particularly pretty. In production, this URL would have oraclecloudapps.com domain name, something like that. So it would be better if we are building our Apex applications in this service to instead use maybe our own company domain name for our Apex applications. For example, if we are building Apex apps, maybe, and our company website is www.example.com, maybe we would like to use apex.example.com for our Apex apps hosted in Exadata Express. Or if we're building REST services, maybe we would like to use api.example.com to host those REST services in Exadata Express. So how can we do that with Exadata Express? Last year, Oracle launched a new cloud infrastructure service called Load Balancing Cloud Service. This is affordable, managed, software-based load balancer. It is fully featured. It is easy to configure using only your browser. So what we can do, we can provision an instance of the load balancer cloud service in front of Exadata Express, and this will provide the support for vanity URLs. So to better understand how exactly this would work, let's take a look at the architecture diagram. Here's the architecture diagram of the solution, and for now, let's focus on the right part of it and looking at the blue lines. Here we have our Exadata Express instance under oraclecloudapps.com domain name. Using this oraclecloudapps.com domain name, we can access the Service Console. This is the one that I just showed you a minute ago. And also, this is the one that we use to run our Apex apps and REST services. This is how we connect to our Exadata Express cloud database. So what we can do, we can configure an instance of the load balancing cloud service here. We can define a DNS record. In this case, it is mycompany.example.com that will point to this load balancer cloud service. And this will create an alternate path into our Exadata Express database. So we will be able to access our Exadata Express environment using the original oraclecloudapps.com domain name, but also using mycompany.example.com as well. So a couple of things to note about this. We, of course, need to be in control of our desired domain name. So in this example, we will need to go to our preferred DNS provider and create a DNS record for mycompany.example.com. And this DNS record will point to our load balancing instance. Also, you will notice that only secure HTTPS access is allowed, which means that we need to obtain a public SSL certificate for our desired domain name. We need to go to certificate authority and purchase or maybe get a free SSL certificate to make sure that the traffic is encrypted between internet clients and our load balancer service. And of course, the connections between load balancer and Exadata Express also will be encrypted. So as a result of this configuration, as I said, we will be able to access our Exadata Express environment from both the vanity URL and also the original URL. So now let's take a look at the steps required to configure our load balancer instance. And we start at the compute console. And the first thing we need to do in the compute console is to upload our SSL certificates. I already have the configuration set up, so I'll just show you what I've done in the past before this demo. I'm going to the digital certificates page, and the first certificate that I need to upload is the server certificate. This is a certificate that I purchased from a certificate authority for my desired domain name. I use the interface to upload the private key and also the certificate and the required certificate chain to the load balancer environment. The second certificate that I need to upload is called the trusted certificate. This will be responsible for encryption traffic between the load balancer instance and Exadata Express. This is the public certificate for the default Exadata Express URL. I simply use my browser to download it and then upload it here. Once the certificates are uploaded, I'm going to the load balancer page. We have a few of them defined, and this is the one that I'm going to use. So once you create a load balancer instance, it will come with the generated canonical host name, which looks something like this. I will need to go to my DNS provider and configure my desired vanity domain name to point to this canonical host name. I've already done that before this demo. Once the instance is created, I will need to define a policy. The policy that I will need to define is the trusted certificate policy. This will be responsible for encryption traffic between my load balancer and Exadata Express. And in this field, I selected the trusted certificate that I just uploaded previously. After that, I will go to the server pools page and define a server pool. Server pool will determine how load balancer will treat the traffic that comes to it. And in our case, load balancer will need to route the network traffic to our original Exadata Express instance. So here, I will provide my original Exadata Express URL and the port number. And finally, to tie all of this together, I will define a listener. So listener will determine or will dictate that all incoming traffic from the internet on the HTTPS port will be routed securely to our Exadata Express pool. I also specified my SSL certificate for my vanity domain name. I specified my trusted certificate policy to make sure traffic is encrypted all the way through. And finally, in this virtual host field, I entered my desired vanity URL or vanity domain name. This is the one that I will use with Exadata Express. Load balancer service supports multiple virtual hosts. In this case, I'm only interested in one. So this completes the configuration for the load balancer instance. So now what we need to do, we need to go back to Exadata Express Service Console and tell Exadata Express that we would like to use this vanity URL. Back in Exadata Express Service Console, we go to the Managed page. And in the Managed page, we have already configured, actually, the new item called Vanity URL. This is a simple dialog. The first thing that I need to do is, of course, to type in my desired vanity URL or vanity domain name that I just configured in the load balancer. The second option that I decided to do is to specify the default landing page. So when users type the vanity URL in their browsers, what should be the default page that will open? In this case, I have Apex Application 100, and I want this to be my default application. And finally, we have another option here where we can decide to disable access to our Apex environment and REST services using the old original oraclecloudapps.com URL. So this will make sure that access to our Exadata Express environment must go through the vanity URL and through a load balancer service only. And this is good because now I can use additional features in the load balancer service to further refine what we do or how we control access to our environment. For example, I can define an IP whitelist policy in the load balancer to maybe say that only users from our office can access this Exadata Express environment. For now, I will not select this feature. So once I configured these parameters, I will save this Vanity URL, and I'm done. So now, if I open a new browser tab and type my Vanity URL in there, we can see that my application 100 automatically opens. We are using my desired Vanity domain name, Vanity URL, right here. And also you notice that the connection is fully encrypted using my personal SSL certificate. Additionally, I can change the URL slightly to open Application Express Builder. And we are here back in Apex Builder using our Vanity URL. And this is, of course, the same Exadata Express environment running Oracle Database 12 Release 2. You will notice, though, that I didn't have to log in to Apex Builder. And this is because even though we are using Vanity URL, our Exadata Express instance is still fully integrated with the Cloud Identity Management solution. So we're using the existing accounts in single sign-on, even though we are using the Vanity URL. So that really concludes my demo. In the future, to summarize, in the future, Exadata Express users will be able to access their Apex apps and REST services using custom domain name or what we call Vanity URL. This configuration will be possible using the load balancer infrastructure service from Oracle and a few settings in Exadata Express Service Console. As usual, we cannot give specific timeline for introduction of this feature. All we can say is it will be coming in the next 12 months. There we go.
And thanks very much, Vlad. And so if you could unshare, let me go back to the prepared content here. Hold on a second. And share screen. Okay, I think we're back. So that was a great demo. Thanks, Vlad. Let's have a few minutes for question and answer just on this topic. And maybe I'll kick this off. Mark, I think you have a couple questions perhaps too. Vlad, one question for you. So this is great, right? The configuration on the Exadata Express side is very simple. It's one dialog, basically. The configuration on the Oracle load balancer side is pretty straightforward, and it gives you a ton of new capability, not only the ability to use your own domain name and your own certificate, but also the IP whitelisting. A lot of good stuff in this Exadata Express plus load balancer pattern that you've described here, and we're working on this, and hoping to have that available soon. But what if for whatever reason, I really don't want to use load balancers as a service. I want something like this, but for whatever reason, I don't want to have a load balancer as a service instance on Oracle Cloud Classic. Are there ways that a customer could apply this pattern using other kind of similar technologies?
Yeah, that's a good question. It will be possible for customers to use a different solution for what we call the reverse proxy into the Exadata Express environment. We right now focus on specifically load balancer service because it is affordable, it is fully managed by Oracle, and it is also possible to collocate that together with your Exadata Express environment. So it's available in the same data centers. So in the future, we might document additional alternative solutions, but I think the proposed load balancer configuration is probably a very good option.
Yep, Got it. And I think that's an important point too. Additional benefit is the co-location in the same data center as well. Whereas if you stood up a cloud VM and were installing your own reverse proxy solution, you have to worry about that yourself as well, in addition to a bunch of other things. So it'll be possible, and that's something we'll probably want to describe. But the slickest, most usable, easiest to stand up solution will be around Oracle's load balancing service. Is that safe to say?
That's exactly right, yes.
Okay. All right. So let's pause right there then. And that's pretty much it for the structured content and demo and so forth and live polls for today. I'm going to just kind of throw it open to questions. And let me make sure I have my chat window open. More chat. Feel free to shout out any questions or observations over audio or over chat. What do you think? Any questions for us? And by the way, you've got not only the PM, but you've got one of our illustrious development managers on the line with us too. So this is a great opportunity for questions. Let us know what you think and if there's anything we can elaborate on. Mark, is that something you think you'll use?
Yeah, I definitely love to have my own URL for my Apex application. So I'm looking forward to using that. I was just trying to think, like in Apex, we have the ability to publish our data out as REST APIs. Would that work the same way? I guess that's for that. Like if I wanted to make a REST call to my APIs that I publish with a REST workshop, would I go to my Vanity URL or would I go to the original cloud URL, or would both work?
They both work out of the box. Yeah, so that's the benefit. The Vanity URL is supported for both Apex applications and also the REST services, whether it's Apex-based REST services or the Oracle REST data services.
There would be no confusion with like the certificates coming from one or the other?
No. When you access your Vanity URL, we will use your personal SSL certificate that you configured in the load balancer service. If you decide to use the original oraclecloudapps.com URL, then Oracle's shared certificate will be used. There should be no confusion, no browser warnings, everything should be fine.
Thank you.
Let me elaborate on that a little bit for the benefit of others who are on the call. So along with Exadata Express, in addition to the Oracle Database Enterprise Edition plus options, and in addition to the pre-configured Application Express or Apex, you also get a REST data access cluster that's providing access to your cloud database over REST. It's very easy to stand up REST endpoints that allow folks to drill into your data and authenticate before you do that. So Mark's asking for the REST endpoints, does the solution similar, does it leverage the same load balancer, same domain name, same SSL certificate? And the answer is yes, right? If you set this up using Oracle Load Balancing Service Classic, you get it not only for Apex apps, but also for the REST endpoints. Did I get that right, Vlad?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Great. So good question. Kind of watching the chat here. Any other questions? Let's see. Judith. Let's see. Who else do we have? Tim? Anything we can help you with? All right, great. Well, we have a quiet bunch today, but that's all right. No worries. And if there are no further questions, I guess we'll wrap it up a little bit early today. This has been recorded and will be posted, so others can go take a look. I'm going to just close it off. I do have to show one thing I forgot. With these office hours sessions, we do talk roadmap. We do talk about forthcoming things that are not released yet. So I have to show the safe harbor statement. But this is a good opportunity for us actually to talk roadmap. So think about it. If you like what you saw today, come back with questions next time. And we look for, oh, wait a minute. We have a question coming through on chat. Hold on a sec.
Hey, my name is hi. My name is Saravanan. I just want to know what does you exactly do it, because I saw this. I just want to understand, because can I have any query? Can I ask you in the during this program, or what exactly is this? Sorry to ask you this.
Yeah,
I just need
no.
to understand.
Great. So,
because someone told me to join this. Yeah.
Yeah, welcome aboard. One of our new attendees here. Welcome. Yeah, so this is a forum where you get direct access to the product manager and development manager. In this case, we have a guest with us today, and you can ask questions about our cloud services, including Schema Service and Exadata Express. If you have questions about other services from Oracle Cloud, I can direct you to other PM office hours from other PMs here at Oracle that are covering other topics too. So this is something new that we're doing, and it gives you direct access to ask whatever you want. So if you have any questions, let us know. What's on your mind?
Oh, nothing. I just want to understand, because we also we are also working heavily on database cloud services. So I thought, okay, let me join. That's it. So right now I don't have any queries, but I just wanted to know what exactly you do it. Thanks for your information.
And if you joined late, this session was recorded. We did a demo of configuring vanity URLs in front of applications running on this service. So the recording will be posted within the next week. You can come back and take a look at it. And please join us next time. We do it every month around this time. The start times and exact dates are posted on that DevGym page. So just keep an eye on that, or keep an eye on my tweet. And yeah, please join us. We're wide open to new folks participating.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks. So with that, I'm going to close it off. Thanks very much, and we'll see you next month. Bye-bye.